Revenge films.
My name is Karen McCall. I have a twin sister called Minnie. She was always the smartest in her class at school. And when she started learning piano, her talent blossomed. She won numerous prizes in piano contests and was regarded as a child prodigy. Unlike my sister, I was always at the bottom half of my class, if not at the bottom. I thought my accomplishments in sports would make up for my grades, but for my mother, sports are not to be compared to studies and music. So my mother didn't care much about me. There has been a wide gap between my sister and me since elementary school. My sister and I used to be close, but because she grew up watching my mother's attitude towards me, she started to look down on me as well. It has become her norm to steal my things like cosmetics and clothes. As we grew up, she even started stealing my boyfriend. And my mother never once took my side. My father, however, was always kind to me and the only one who supported me. My mother and sister always acted nice in front of my father, so he had no idea I didn't get along with them. I didn't want to worry my father, so I kept my mouth shut about my problems. My father was working most of the time and rarely home. I was happy, so happy when he came home every 2 months. But my mother said, "It's so tiring for me when he comes home. I wish he'd never come home. It also cost me money for him to come back. What a waste." She never stopped complaining about my father. I hated my family so much that I moved out immediately after high school. I started with a temporary job after moving out. I could finally live my life without being discriminated against by anyone. I also felt so relieved that no one would ever take what was mine. My father worried about me and gave me allowances without telling my mother and my sister. She would also come to me once in a while, but one day my father fell ill and passed away within a month. My mother and sister were both thrilled to receive the inheritance. My sister was studying at music college at the time. When our father was in the hospital, she also had to drop out because of the huge medical expenses. So when they got the payout from my father's life insurance, my sister was so happy that she could continue her study. Of course, I didn't receive a single penny. 6 years later, I had never returned home except for my father's memorial service. I continued living my life without contacting my sister and mother. Finally, one day, I decided to get married to a guy I met at work. So I contacted my mother and told her that I was getting married. "Oh, you're getting married?" As expected, my mother didn't congratulate me at all. Another half a year later, exactly 1 month before my wedding, I got a call from my sister. I thought she called to congratulate me, but she said, "Hey Karen, I'm gonna take your wedding, okay?" What on earth was she talking about? So I asked her what she meant. Then she told me something peculiar. 6 months ago, after my mother told my sister I was getting married, my sister posed as me and sneaked into my company to check out the guy I was marrying. As soon as she went in, a guy went up to her and said,
"Karen?"
She thought it was my fiancé, Miles. At first, he mistook Minnie for me, but then he realized we were twin sisters. He then invited my sister to dinner because he wanted to talk to her about me, and they slept together that night. "Are you serious?" I was at a loss for words. My sister continued, "It's your fault, you know. Miles said you wouldn't let him, so he was very frustrated. Since we have the same appearance, he didn't even feel guilty doing it with me. And then he said he'd buy me anything I wanted and give me money if I needed. I was doing him a favor. It was also good for me since I needed money, so we kind of reached an agreement. He said it was nice to be with me, and he really liked it. He gave me $1,000 a day. He's so great, isn't he? He's as wealthy as I thought. I've been meeting him about once a week since then, and he told me he liked me more. He said meeting you first was a mistake and he regretted it. But you guys were already planning the wedding. So he said it'd be better to take your place than cancel the wedding. We're already engaged. There's no way you'll be able to marry Miles now. Sucks to be you. Are you serious? I find your story hard to believe, though. Why don't you ask him directly? Here, can you hear him? Miles says he doesn't care about you anymore. Are you with him now? Yes, I am. Miles is not yours anymore, so you better just keep your distance, okay? Wait, is the guy you're with now Miles Kane? Yeah, why? I knew it. What do you mean you knew it? Stop pretending you don't care. That guy's not my fiancé. What? But isn't your fiancé Miles? Yes, Miles is his last name. His first name is Steven. My fiancé is Steven Miles, and he's right next to me now. What? No way! Then who is this Miles? That's my stalker. Are you for real? Ugh! In fact, the guy who approached my sister used to stalk me. He stalked me for about 2 years, which made me very worried about my safety. So I talked to my boss, Steven. He's a great boss who always looked after me. Steven came up with a plan. He pretended to be my boyfriend and started hanging out with me outside of work. Not long after that, we started dating. Steven also took photos of the stalker and reported him to the police. The stalking behavior seemed to have stopped since then, but he was still secretly looking for a chance to ambush me when I was alone. Coincidentally, my sister sneaked into my office at the time. He saw her, mistook her for me, and approached her. My sister was planning to pose as me and steal my boyfriend as soon as she found him. When my mother asked me about my plan after marriage, I told her I would become a housewife. Somehow, my mother and sister automatically connected housewife with wealthy husband. They were so angry and jealous that I was marrying a wealthy husband. So they devised a plan to steal my boyfriend from me. My mother had given everything she had for my sister's music education and spent all of the inheritance. But my sister couldn't find a job after she graduated. At the same time, my sister is so pampered and spoiled that she can't let go of her pride at all. I'm not getting a part-time job like other people. I'll find a job in the music business for sure. So she ended up living at home without doing anything. My mother had to work to support my sister. After I told my sister who the guy really was, she asked for help in a trembling voice. Please, I already told you everything. Can you do something about this guy? I need help. I'm so sorry, but I can't help you. I don't want anything to do with that stalker. No, please. Karen, help me. 1 month later, my wedding went well, but my sister and my mother were not there. I heard what happened to them from my father's relatives who came. My sister and mother disappeared along with the stalker shortly after the phone call. In fact, that stalker guy had been living on borrowed money and had no job because he spent most of his time stalking me. After he got together with my sister, he took out more loans from loan sharks to buy expensive designer goods for my sister. His debts had swelled to nearly $300,000 and he was chased by scary debt collectors. The sister wanted to get a divorce, but the collectors found out they were married. So the collectors already started threatening my sister before she could divorce him. They ended up hiding at my mother's house. Even so, the scary debt collection continued, and my mother also got involved with it. She even got fired from her part-time job. She had no choice but to sell the house to repay the debt. The house was almost 30 years old and not located in a good area, so the price was low. Because they couldn't pay off all the debt, the collectors still didn't stop chasing the three of them. Ultimately, they lost everything and became homeless. They're now struggling to live with hiding from the collectors. As for me, I moved with my husband several times as he got transferred from one place to another. But I will always visit my father's grave every year on his death anniversary. I would bring flowers to my father's grave and stay there for a while. I'm so thankful that that stalker guy, my mother, and my sister all disappeared from my life at the same time.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.